Captain Marcus Chen stood in the grand hall of Baron Zethkar's flagship. The ceiling stretched high above him, covered in gold and strange alien symbols. Tall windows showed the stars outside, but Marcus kept his eyes on the Baron. Baron Zethkar was huge. He stood almost 9 feet tall, with dark green scales that shined under the bright lights. His yellow eyes looked down at Marcus with something that might have been amusement. Behind the Baron, dozens of other aliens watched and whispered to each other. Marcus had saved this ship. 3 pirate vessels had attacked the Baron's flagship 2 days ago. The human ship Defiant Dawn was small compared to the alien warship, but Marcus and his crew had fought hard. They destroyed 2 pirate ships and chased away the 3rd. The Baron's ship was safe because of them. Now Marcus waited for his payment. The Baron had promised gold and trade deals for the human colonies. Instead, the alien noble smiled in a way that showed too many sharp teeth. "Human captain," Baron Zethkar said. His voice was deep and rough. "You have served my house well. You fought bravely against the pirates." Marcus nodded. "We did our duty, Baron. We're glad we could help." The Baron's smile grew wider. "Yes, you helped indeed, and now I must give you proper payment for your service." The alien court began to whisper more loudly. Some of them were laughing quietly. Marcus felt something was wrong, but he waited. "Bring her," the Baron called out. 2 guards walked into the hall. Between them was a young alien woman. She sat in a strange chair with wheels. Her scales were lighter than the Baron's, almost silver, and her eyes were bright gold. She looked to be about 20 years old in human terms. The woman's face showed no emotion, but Marcus could see anger burning in her eyes. She kept her back straight and her head high, even though the guards pushed her chair roughly. "This is my daughter, Lady Cassera," Baron Zethkar announced. "She will be your payment." The court erupted in laughter. The sound echoed off the high ceiling. Marcus looked confused. "I don't understand, Baron." "Of course you don't," the Baron said. "You humans are so simple. Let me explain. My daughter cannot walk. She has been broken since birth. Her legs do not work. In our society, she is worthless." The laughter grew louder. Some aliens pointed at the woman in the chair. She kept staring straight ahead, but Marcus saw her hands shake slightly. "She cannot fight." The Baron continued. "She cannot work. She cannot even stand to show respect. What use is such a creature? But you humans are so desperate, so primitive, that perhaps even broken goods will satisfy you." Marcus felt heat rise in his chest. The aliens were still laughing. The Baron looked very pleased with himself. "She eats food and takes up space," another alien called out from the crowd. "Perfect for humans. Maybe they can use her as furniture," another one said. The woman in the chair finally moved. She turned her head slightly and looked at Marcus. In her golden eyes, he saw pain, anger, and something else. Intelligence. Sharp, bright intelligence that burned like fire. Marcus had made his decision. "I accept," he said loudly. The laughter stopped. The Baron's smile disappeared. "What did you say?" "I accept your daughter as payment," Marcus repeated. "Lady Cassera will come with me." The Baron stared at him. "You accept? But she is broken." "Useless." Marcus walked over to the woman's chair. He stopped in front of her and looked into her eyes. "Lady Cassera," he said formally. "My name is Captain Marcus Chen. Would you like to come with me to see human space?" She studied his face for a long moment. "Why?" she asked. Her voice was soft but clear. "Because I think your father is wrong about you." Something changed in her expression. The anger was still there, but now there was something else. Hope, maybe. "Yes," she said. "I would like that very much." Marcus turned back to the Baron. "The deal is complete. Thank you for your generous payment." The Baron's face had turned darker. "You cannot be serious. She is worthless to you." "That's for me to decide," Marcus said. "You offered her as payment. I accepted. The deal is done." But, the Baron stammered. "This was meant to insult you. To show you that humans will take anything. Maybe it did, Marcus said calmly. Or maybe it showed me that you don't know the value of what you have. He walked behind Kesara's chair and began pushing it toward the exit. My ship will be leaving in 1 hour. Lady Kesara, do you have anything you need to collect? No, she said quietly. There is nothing here for me. As they moved toward the door, Marcus could hear the aliens talking loudly behind them. Some were still laughing, but others sounded confused or angry. Human, the Baron called out, you will regret this. She will be nothing but trouble for you. Marcus stopped at the door and looked back. Baron, with respect, I think you're going to be the one with regrets. They left the grand hall together. In the corridors of the alien ship, Kesara spoke again. Why did you really take me? She asked. And don't say it was to insult my father. Marcus thought for a moment as they walked. When your father was talking, when everyone was laughing, you were watching everything. Your eyes moved around the room like you were studying every person, every door, every weapon the guards carried. You were thinking, planning, analyzing. That's not something a worthless person does. You noticed that? I'm a ship captain. I have to notice things if I want to stay alive. And I noticed that you're smart. Very smart. They reached the docking bay where Marcus's ship waited. The Defiant Dawn was small and old, but it was well maintained. Kesara looked at it with interest. It's not much to look at, Marcus said. It survived a fight against 3 pirate ships, Kesara replied. Looks can be deceiving. Marcus smiled. Exactly. As they boarded the ship, Marcus felt good about his choice. The Baron thought he had played a cruel joke. He thought he had given Marcus something worthless and laughed about it. But Marcus had spent 20 years in space. He had learned to see past surfaces, to find value where others saw none. The Baron's daughter was not broken. She was just different. And sometimes different was exactly what you needed. The ship's engines started up. Soon they would leave this place behind. Kesara sat in her chair, looking out the window at the stars. Where are we going? She asked. Home, Marcus said, to show you what humans think about people who are different. As the Defiant Dawn pulled away from the Baron's ship, Marcus wondered if the alien noble understood what he had just lost. Probably not. But Marcus was beginning to understand what he had gained. The real question was, what would they do together? 3 days had passed since they left Baron Zethkar's ship. Kesara sat in the small dining area of the Defiant Dawn, eating breakfast with the human crew. She still felt strange about it. At home, she ate alone in her room. Servants brought her food and left quickly. Here, Captain Chen and his crew talked to her like she belonged at the table. The eggs are good, said Lieutenant Sarah Kim, the ship's engineer. Better than the stuff we usually eat in space. Kesara nodded. Thank you for making them. Sarah had been kind to her from the first day. The human woman was about 30 years old, with short black hair and smart eyes. Kesara had noticed that Sarah walked differently than the others. She used a metal cane and moved carefully. Sarah, Kesara said quietly, may I ask you something personal? Sure. Your leg. What happened? Sarah didn't look upset by the question. Mining accident 5 years ago. A tunnel collapsed. Crushed both my legs pretty badly. But you still work on a spaceship? Of course I do. My legs got hurt, not my brain. Sarah smiled. I'm the best engineer in this sector. Captain Chen knows that. Kesara stared at her. In my father's empire, you would not be allowed to work. They would say you are broken. Well, that's stupid, Sarah said simply. I designed the engine modifications that make this old ship faster than most new ones. How is that broken? Captain Chen entered the dining area. Morning, everyone. Kesara, could I talk to you privately? They went to his office, a small room filled with star charts and computer screens. Marcus sat behind his desk and looked at her seriously. I've been thinking about what to do next, he said. I can take you to any human colony you want. You'd be safe there, but I have another idea. What kind of idea? Stay here, on my ship. Be part of my crew. Kessara felt surprised. What could I do? I cannot fight like your soldiers. Fighting isn't the only thing that matters on a ship. Sarah told me you've been asking her about the engines, and yesterday when we were planning our route, you spotted a problem with our navigation that I missed. It was true. Kessara had looked at their star charts and noticed they were taking a longer path than necessary. She had mentioned it quietly to Sarah. You have a good mind for strategy and engineering, Marcus continued. We could use someone like you. But I'm not human. Your people might not trust me. Some won't, Marcus admitted. But the good ones will judge you by what you do, not what you look like or where you came from. Before Kessara could answer, alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Sarah's voice came over the communication system. Captain to the bridge. We're getting a distress call. Marcus and Kessara hurried to the bridge. The main screen showed a group of ships in the distance. Sarah was already working at her station. It's a human colony convoy, Sarah reported. 15 civilian ships heading to New Terra. They're under attack by pirates. Marcus studied the display. How many pirate ships? 8, and they're big ones. We can't fight 8 ships alone, said Lieutenant Torres, the weapons officer. Marcus looked grim. We have to try. Those are innocent people. Kessara had been watching the screen carefully. She saw something the others missed. Captain, she said. May I suggest something? Everyone turned to look at her. Marcus nodded. The convoy ships are not warships, but they're not helpless. Look at their formation. She pointed at the screen. 3 of those ships are cargo haulers. They have powerful engines and strong hulls. 2 are passenger ships with good shields. And that one there is a mining vessel with heavy equipment. What are you thinking? Marcus asked. Don't fight the pirates ship to ship. Turn the convoy into a weapon. For the next few minutes, Kessara explained her plan. The humans listened carefully. When she finished, Sarah was grinning. That's crazy, Torres said. It might actually work. Marcus made his decision. Do it. Kessara, can you coordinate the convoy ships? Yes? Then you're in command of this operation. The next hour was intense. Kessara spoke to the convoy captains over the radio, explaining what they needed to do. At first they were confused. A few didn't want to listen to an alien, but when Marcus backed her up, they agreed to try. The plan was complex. The cargo ships would use their powerful engines to ram 2 of the pirate vessels. The passenger ships would link their shields to protect the smaller vessels. The mining ship would use its drilling equipment as weapons. It's not going to be pretty, Sarah warned. It doesn't have to be pretty, Kessara replied. It just has to work. The battle began. The pirates expected the convoy to run or hide behind the Defiant Dawn. Instead, the civilian ships attacked. The first cargo hauler slammed into a pirate ship at full speed. Both ships were damaged, but the pirate vessel was crippled. The second cargo ship did the same thing to another pirate. The mining ship surprised everyone. Its drilling beam cut through a pirate ship's hull like it was made of paper. The passenger ships worked together, their combined shields protecting the smaller vessels from pirate weapons. Meanwhile, the Defiant Dawn hit the pirates from unexpected angles. With the convoy ships causing chaos, Marcus could attack where the pirates weren't ready. 2 hours later, it was over. 5 pirate ships were destroyed. 2 more were crippled and surrendering. The last one had run away. The convoy was safe, better than safe. They had won. Incredible, Torres said, looking at the battle results. We just beat 8 pirate ships with a bunch of civilian vessels. Marcus was staring at Kessara. Where did you learn to do that? I didn't learn it anywhere, she said. I just thought about what we had and how to use it. That was brilliant strategy. Thank you. Sarah laughed. Kessara, if you ever want to leave this ship, don't tell any other captains how good you are. They'll steal you away from us. That evening, Marcus found Kessara in the observation lounge, looking out at the stars. So, he said, sitting beside her, still think you can't contribute to a ship's crew? Kessara was quiet for a moment. My father always said I was worthless because I couldn't walk, couldn't fight like a warrior. Your father was wrong. Yes, I think he was. She turned to look at Marcus. I would like to stay, if you'll have me. Welcome to the crew, Lieutenant. Cassara. She smiled. It was the first real smile Marcus had seen from her. Lieutenant, you just commanded your first successful battle. I'd say that earns you a rank. As they sat watching the stars, Marcus thought about how wrong Baron Zethkar had been. He hadn't given Marcus something worthless. He had given him someone who might change everything. The question now was, what would happen when the Baron found out? 2 months had passed since the convoy battle. Cassara had become a real part of the crew. She wore a human uniform now, with lieutenant's stripes on her sleeves. Her wheelchair had been replaced with a better one that Sarah had built specially for her. The Defiant Dawn was docked at Haven Station, a human trading post near the border of alien space. Marcus was in his quarters when Sarah burst through the door. Captain, we have a problem, a big one. Marcus looked up from his reports. What kind of problem? Baron Zethkar is here, with a battle fleet. Marcus felt his stomach drop. How many ships? 12, including 2 heavy cruisers. They just came out of hyperspace and they're demanding to speak with you. Marcus grabbed his jacket. Where's Cassara? In engineering, working on the shield generators. Get her to the bridge, now. When Marcus reached the bridge, the main screen showed Baron Zethkar's flagship. It was huge, 3 times the size of any human ship at the station. Around it, 11 other alien warships waited in perfect formation. Incoming message, Torres reported. Put it through. The screen changed to show Baron Zethkar in his throne room. The alien noble looked angry. Very angry. Captain Chen, the Baron said. His voice was cold. You have something that belongs to me. Baron, I wasn't expecting to see you again so soon. I'm sure you weren't. You thought you could steal my daughter and disappear into human space. Marcus kept his voice calm. I didn't steal anything. You gave her to me, remember? That was before I learned what you've done to her. Cassara entered the bridge. When she saw her father on the screen, her face went hard. Father. Cassara. Look at you. Wearing their uniform, pretending to be one of them. You have brought shame to our house. I have brought honor to myself. The Baron's eyes flashed with, You dare speak to me that way? You are my daughter, my property. And you will return to me immediately. No, Cassara said simply. You don't have a choice. Captain Chen, you will hand over my daughter now, or I will take her by force. Marcus stepped forward. She's not your property, Baron. She's a free person, and she's chosen to stay here. Free? The Baron laughed harshly. She is broken goods, damaged. I gave her to you as an insult, and you were too stupid to understand. The only thing I understand is that you threw away the smartest person in your family. The Baron's face turned darker. Smart? She cannot even walk. She doesn't need to walk to be brilliant. In the past 2 months, she's helped us win 3 battles, designed new shield configurations, and improved our navigation systems. She's done more useful work than most people do in years. Lies. You humans will say anything. Sarah stepped up to the communication station. It's not lies. Want to see the battle records? Your daughter commanded a fleet action that saved 15 civilian ships. The Baron stared at the screen. Impossible. Very possible, Marcus said. Your daughter is remarkable. The only broken thing here is your ability to see her value. The Baron was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was dangerous. Captain Chen, you have corrupted my daughter. You have filled her head with human nonsense about equality and worth. This cannot be allowed to continue. What are you saying? Return my daughter immediately, or I will consider this an act of war. My fleet will destroy this station and every human ship in this sector. Marcus looked around the bridge. His crew was ready to fight, but 12 alien warships against the few human ships at the station? It would be a massacre. You would kill thousands of innocent people for this? I would kill millions to preserve the honor of my house. Cassara moved her wheelchair forward. Father, stop this, I'll come back with you. No, Marcus said immediately. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. I won't let innocent people die because of me. The Baron smiled coldly. See? She still has some sense of duty despite your corrupting influence. Wait, Marcus said. Baron, you mentioned the honor of your house. What about the ancient laws of challenge? The Baron's smile disappeared. What? The old hegemony laws. If someone claims another person unjustly, the matter can be settled by challenge. Single combat between chosen champions. You know our old laws? I've studied them. The challenge tradition is still legally valid, isn't it? The Baron looked uncomfortable. It is, but no one has used those laws in centuries. I'm using them now. I challenge your claim to Kesara. If my champion wins, she goes free to choose her own path. If your champion wins, she returns with you and humanity pays whatever price you set. And what makes you think I would accept such a challenge? Because refusing would make you look weak in front of your fleet. And because you're confident you'll win. The Baron thought about this. Around him, his court was whispering. Marcus could see some of them nodding. Very well, the Baron said finally. I accept your challenge. Choose your champion. I choose Lieutenant Kesara. The silence on both bridges was complete. What? The Baron whispered. My champion is your daughter. That's impossible. She cannot fight. She is broken. The old laws don't specify what kind of challenge, do they? Just that it must test the worthiness of the champions. The Baron's court was talking loudly now. Some looked excited, others confused. The Baron himself looked trapped. You cannot be serious, he said. Very serious. Unless you're afraid your own daughter might beat your champion? Afraid? Of her? The Baron laughed, but it sounded forced. Fine, but I choose the type of challenge. And I choose Fleet Commander Zarthek as my champion. An older alien appeared on the screen beside the Baron. He was covered in scars and wore the uniform of a high-ranking military officer. What will be the nature of the challenge? Marcus asked. The Baron smiled cruelly. A battle simulation. Fleet, command. Your broken daughter against the greatest military mind in the hegemony. Agreed. Father, Kesara said quietly. Are you sure about this? You might not like the result. Silence. You will lose, as you have always lost at everything. And then you will come home and never embarrass me again. The communication ended. The bridge was quiet for a moment. Kesara, Marcus said. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. She was smiling now. Besides, I want to show my father what his broken daughter can really do. Sarah grinned. This is going to be interesting. Torres looked worried. Commander Zarthek is famous throughout the galaxy. He's won hundreds of battles. So, Kesara said, he's never fought a human-trained strategist before. As the crew prepared for the challenge, Marcus wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. But when he looked at Kesara, he saw confidence in her golden eyes. Maybe the Baron was about to learn exactly how wrong he had been about his daughter. The challenge would begin tomorrow, and with it, everything would change. The challenge arena was set up in Haven Station's main docking bay. Both fleets watched from space as engineers worked through the night to prepare the massive holographic simulation system. Marcus stood beside Kesara as she studied the setup. The simulation would create a virtual battlefield where both commanders would control identical fleets. The battle would be projected for everyone to see. Are you ready for this? Marcus asked. Kesara nodded. I've been ready my whole life. I just never had the chance to prove it. Sarah approached them carrying a data tablet. I've been researching Commander Zarthek. He's good. Really good. He's never lost a battle simulation. What's his style? Kesara asked. Classic hegemony tactics. Direct assault, overwhelming. Force traditional formations. He likes to crush his enemies with superior firepower. Predictable, Kesara said. That's good. Predictable. He's won hundreds of battles against other hegemony commanders who fight the same way he does. I don't. Baron Zethkar's shuttle arrived at the station. The alien noble emerged with his champion and a group of observers. Commander Zarthek was impressive even by hegemony standards. He was older than the Baron, with dark scars across his face and arms. His uniform displayed dozens of battle honors. The two sides met in the center of the arena. The Baron looked at his daughter with disgust. "Last chance, Kessara. Surrender, now, and return with me quietly." "No, father." Commander Zarthek stepped forward. "Young one, I have fought in real wars while you played with toys. This will not take long. We'll see," Kessara replied calmly. The simulation began. Both commanders were given identical fleets, 50 ships each, including cruisers, destroyers, and fighters. The virtual battlefield was an asteroid field near a planet. Commander Zarthek moved first. His fleet formed into a traditional hegemony battle line, heavy ships in the center, smaller vessels on the flanks. It was textbook strategy, the kind taught in every military academy. Kessara did something completely different. She split her fleet into small groups and scattered them throughout the asteroid field. "What is she doing?" Baron Zethkar demanded. "She's dividing her forces. Any fool knows you never divide your forces." Marcus smiled. "She's not dividing them. She's positioning them." The Baron's observers were laughing. On the screen, it looked like Kessara had no plan at all. Her ships were scattered randomly, hiding behind asteroids. Commander Zarthek pressed his advantage. His battle line moved forward, ready to crush the scattered human forces. That's when Kessara struck. Her scattered ships weren't random at all. They had been carefully placed to attack from multiple directions at once. As the hegemony fleet advanced, Kessara's ships hit them from above, below, and from both sides. The traditional battle line crumbled. Hegemony ships found themselves under attack from angles they hadn't protected. Commander Zarthek tried to reorganize, but Kessara's forces were too mobile. "Impossible," the Baron whispered. The battle continued for an hour. Every time Commander Zarthek formed a new strategy, Kessara adapted. When he tried to concentrate his forces, she scattered and hit his weak points. When he tried to spread out, she concentrated her attacks. "She's using human tactics," Sarah explained to the watching aliens. "Guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run attacks, adaptive strategy. Your commander doesn't know how to fight against it." Commander Zarthek was getting frustrated. His traditional tactics weren't working. In desperation, he ordered a full assault on what he thought was Kessara's main force. It was a trap. The ships he attacked were decoys, empty vessels Kessara had been using to confuse him. While he wasted his firepower on nothing, her real fleet attacked his command ship from behind. The simulation ended with Commander Zarthek's flagship destroyed and most of his fleet scattered. The arena was completely silent. Kessara turned to look at her father. "Did I embarrass you enough, father?" Baron Zethkar stared at the simulation results. His daughter had won. Not just won. She had dominated one of the greatest military minds in the hegemony. Commander Zarthek stood slowly. He looked old and tired. I don't understand. How did you do that?" "I learned from humans," Kessara said. "They taught me that there's more than one way to fight, more than one way to think. But your tactics, they make no sense. You sacrificed territory. You divided your forces. You retreated when you should have attacked. And I won." The old commander nodded slowly. "Yes, you won." He turned to the Baron. "My lord, your daughter has defeated me fairly. She is remarkable." Baron Zethkar's face was dark with rage and humiliation. "This proves nothing. She used alien tricks, foreign ways of thinking. She has been corrupted." "She has been educated," Marcus said. "There's a difference." "Silence, human. You have poisoned her mind with your weak philosophies." "Father," Kessara said quietly. "Look around. You." The Baron looked. His own officers were staring at the simulation results with amazement. Some were talking quietly among themselves, pointing at the tactical displays. "Your own people saw what happened," Kessara continued. "I won because I thought differently, not because I was weak. Maybe you should ask yourself what other opportunities You've missed because you only see one way to do things. One of the younger hegemony officers stepped forward. Baron, if I may, what Lady Kessara accomplished was extraordinary. These tactics could revolutionize our military doctrine. Traitor, the Baron snarled. No, my lord, I speak only truth. We have much to learn from this. More officers began nodding. They had seen something new, something that challenged everything. They thought they knew about warfare. Marcus seized the moment. Baron, the challenge is complete. Your daughter won. According to your own laws, she's free to choose her path. The Baron looked trapped. His own laws bound him, and his own officers had witnessed his daughter's victory. The challenge was valid. Commander Zarthek said formally, Lady Kessara has proven her worth. She must be allowed to choose. I choose to stay with Captain Chen and his crew, Kessara said. They saw my value when my own family could not. Baron Zethkar was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. Very well. You have won your freedom, daughter, but you are no longer part of my house. You are dead to me. I was already dead to you, father. Now I'm alive to myself. The Baron turned to leave, then stopped. This is not over, human. You have taken my daughter and turned her against me. There will be consequences. The only consequences will be that she'll have a chance to reach her full potential, Marcus replied. As the Baron and his fleet prepared to leave, several of the younger hegemony officers approached Marcus. Captain, one of them said. What Lady Kessara did today? Could our officers learn these tactics? Marcus looked at Kessara, who nodded. We could arrange something, he said. An exchange program, maybe. Cultural and military cooperation. That would be most interesting. As the alien fleet departed, Marcus realized that something important had changed. The challenge hadn't just freed Kessara. It had opened minds and created possibilities that hadn't existed before. The real victory was yet to come. 6 months after the challenge, everything had changed. Marcus stood on the bridge of the new ship Unity, watching as human and hegemony vessels flew together in perfect formation. It still amazed him to see it. The Unity was twice the size of the old Defiant Dawn, built specially for the new joint fleet. Human engineering and hegemony technology had been combined to create something better than either could build alone. Captain, Lieutenant Torres called from his station, we're receiving a message from Admiral Kessara. Marcus smiled. Put her through. The main screen showed Kessara in the command center of the flagship New Horizon. She wore a new uniform that combined human and hegemony designs. Her rank insignia showed she was now an admiral of the joint fleet. Marcus, she said, the new recruits are ready for their first mission. How are they working together? Better than expected. The young hegemony officers are eager to learn human tactics, and our human crews are fascinated by alien technology. It had started slowly. After the challenge, 3 young hegemony nobles had asked to send officers to train with human crews. The Baron had forbidden it, but he didn't speak for all hegemony houses. Word of Kessara's victory had spread throughout alien space. The story had grown in the telling. Some versions made it sound like she had defeated 100 enemy ships. But the core truth remained. A disabled young woman had beaten the greatest military mind in the Empire using new ways of thinking. Other hegemony houses began to take notice. If Baron Zethkar was wrong about his own daughter, what else might he be wrong about? Admiral, Marcus said formally. What's our mission status? We have a situation in the Vega system. Pirates are attacking the trade routes again, but these aren't ordinary pirates. What do you mean? They're using hegemony, ships and tactics. Someone is organizing them. Marcus frowned. Any idea who? I have suspicions, but we'll need to investigate carefully. 2 hours later, the joint fleet was in hyperspace, heading for the Vega system. Marcus met with Kessara in the Unity's conference room. Also present were Sarah Kim, now the fleet's chief engineer, and Commander Veltar, a young hegemony officer who had been one of the first to join the exchange program. Tell me about these organized pirates, Marcus said. Kessara activated the holographic display. 3 attacks in the past month. Each time, they've used perfect hegemony military formations. They know exactly where to hit for maximum damage. Someone, with inside knowledge, Sarah observed. Commander Veltar looked uncomfortable. Admiral, there are rumors in the hegemony. Some nobles are not happy about this alliance. What kind of rumors? They say Baron Zethkar has been meeting with other conservative houses. They believe human influence is corrupting our traditional ways. Marcus wasn't surprised. So they're using pirates to make the alliance look bad. It's possible. If trade routes become too dangerous, the younger houses might lose faith in cooperation with humans. We need proof, Kesara said, and we need to stop these attacks. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Vega Prime. Immediately, the sensors detected trouble. A convoy of merchant ships was under attack by 6 heavily armed vessels. All ships, battle stations, Kesara ordered over the fleet communication system. Remember your training. Human and hegemony crews work together. The joint fleet moved in to help the convoy. What followed was a display of cooperation that would have been impossible a year earlier. Human ships used their speed and agility to confuse the pirates. Hegemony vessels provided heavy firepower support, but most importantly, they communicated and coordinated like a single force. The pirates fought well, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. 4 of their ships were destroyed, 2 were captured. Bring the prisoners to the Unity, Kesara ordered. I want to question them myself. The pirate captain was a hegemony warrior named Drakmor. He was old and scarred with the look of a professional soldier. When he was brought to the conference room, he refused to speak to the humans. I will speak only to a true hegemony noble, he said in his own language. Kesara answered him in the same language. I am Admiral Kesara, commander of this fleet. You will answer my questions. Drakmor laughed harshly. You are the broken daughter, the one who shames her own father. You are no noble. Perhaps not in your eyes. But I command this fleet, and you are my prisoner. I will tell you nothing. Marcus had an idea. Kesara, let me try something. He turned to the pirate. Drakmor, you're a professional soldier. I can see it in how you carry yourself. What are you doing working with common pirates? I fight for honor. Whose honor? Your own? Or someone who pays you to attack innocent merchants? The pirate's eyes flashed with anger. I fight for the true hegemony, not this corruption you spread with your alien ideas. Someone's been talking to you about corruption, Marcus said. Someone who pays well and speaks of honor. Someone who wants this alliance to fail. Baron Zethkar speaks truth. Humans make us weak. The room went quiet. Drakmor realized he had said too much. So, Kesara said sadly, my father is behind this. He seeks to protect our pure ways. By murdering innocent traitors? By using pirates as tools? What honor is there in that? Drakmor had no answer. Later, as the fleet prepared to return to base, Marcus found Kesara in her private office. She was staring out the window at the stars. Are you all right? He asked. I knew my father opposed the alliance, but I didn't think he would go this far. What do you want to do about it? What we have to do. Present the evidence to the Hegemony Council. Let them decide. That could be dangerous for you. Everything worthwhile is dangerous. She turned to look at him. Marcus, do you ever regret taking me from my father's ship? Never. Best decision I ever made. Even though it's caused all this trouble? Kesara, look what we've built together. A year ago, humans and hegemony forces had never fought side by side. Now we have a joint fleet. Young officers from both species are learning from each other. We're changing how the galaxy thinks about cooperation. And my father is trying to destroy it all. He's trying, but he's not succeeding. Today, our mixed crews worked perfectly together. They trusted each other, supported each other. That's not something you can easily break. 3 weeks later, the evidence was presented to the Hegemony Council. Baron Zethkar tried to deny everything, but the proof was too strong. The pirate captain had confessed completely, hoping for mercy. The council's judgment was swift. Baron Zethkar was stripped of his rank and exiled. His house was dissolved, his titles given to other nobles who supported the alliance. More importantly, the council formally recognized the joint fleet and expanded the exchange program. What had started with a few curious young officers became an official policy. Standing on the bridge of the Unity a month later, Marcus watched as the largest joint exercise in galactic history took place. 50 human ships and 50 hegemony. Vessels moved together in formations that would have been impossible without the cooperation they had built. "Admiral," Sarah called from her station, "we're receiving a priority message from Earth Command." "Put it through," Kesara ordered. The image of Fleet Admiral Chen appeared on the screen. Marcus smiled. His uncle had finally been promoted to the position he deserved. "Admiral Kesara, Captain Chen," the elder Chen said, "I'm calling to congratulate you both. The Joint Fleet program has exceeded all expectations. Earth Command is authorizing a permanent alliance with the hegemony." "Thank you, sir," Kesara replied. "We're honored to serve." "There's something else. We've received requests from 12 other alien species to join the alliance. It seems word has spread about what you've accomplished." Marcus felt amazed. 12 species? The galaxy is watching, son. What you two started with a simple act of kindness has become something much larger. After the communication ended, Marcus and Kesara stood together looking out at their joint fleet. "Do you think we'll actually succeed?" Kesara asked. "Building a real alliance between all these different species? I think we already have succeeded. Maybe not completely, but we've proven it's possible. My father wanted to humiliate you by giving you a broken daughter. Instead, he gave me a partner who helped change the galaxy." Kesara smiled. He never did understand the value of what he had. As the joint fleet continued its exercises, Marcus thought about how strange life could be. A year ago, he had been the captain of a small old ship carrying out routine missions. Now he was part of something that might reshape how different species work together. All because he had looked at a young woman in a wheelchair and seen potential instead of limitations. The Baron had meant to play a cruel joke. Instead, he had started a revolution, and the revolution was just beginning.